realtor for you. After all, buying or selling your home is probably one of the most important things that you're going to do financially in your lives. That's a big deal. It's something that we all don't do, at least most of us, on a consistent basis. We might do it 3 or 4, maybe 5 times in our lifetime, but it's a very big deal. So when you go about picking the best realtor for you, one of the most important things I think you should do is first seek out the brokerage. Look for the real estate company that you think would represent your needs the best. And once you've identified that brokerage, contact that brokerage and find out and make sure that all the agents in that brokerage are realtors. Realtors are representative, or they're members of the National Association of Realtors, and they have to abide by a certain code of ethics. It's something that they have to do. So that's one of the most important things that you should do in the beginning. Now, once you've identified that brokerage and you've identified that they are realtors at that brokerage, set an appointment with the broker or the broker manager of that company. Don't just call an agent. If the broker or the broker manager of that company listens to what your needs are, the likelihood of them identifying the best agent within their organization to help you is going to be much stronger. In addition to, when that broker or that broker manager puts you with that agent has now been given that person from that broker and the broker manager, and the likelihood of them doing an excellent job versus a not so great job is a lot stronger because that they have been asked to do this by their broker or the broker manager. So now you've met with the broker or the broker manager of that company. You've talked to them about certain needs that they have. They're going to identify the real estate professional that they think best suits your needs. One of the important things is making sure that that professional that you're being set with is someone who is very familiar with or actually sells real estate in your price range. If you have a high-end agent who sells nothing but million-dollar properties and your house price range is about $100,000, the likelihood of that agent really working hard and doing the best job for a $100,000 sale versus a $1 million sale for you might not be so good. The attention that they give your listing or your property is likely that it could go either way. The next thing is if they're a agent that has this is the bell that really throws you off. If they're an agent who only deals with, say, low-end properties, maybe $50,000 to $100,000, and they don't necessarily have the resources, the experience in marketing your $1 million house. If you have a very high-end home, how much experience does that agent have in marketing that? And that's not to say that if you get a brand new agent, you might find that agents who've been in the business 1 or 2 years do just as good of a job as someone who's been in the business for 15 years. They could be they're energetic, usually they're very ambitious, they may have the resources available. So don't discount someone who's fairly new, but by making sure that you have someone that is going to do the best job for you. So when you identify that person with that broker or that broker manager, set an appointment then with that agent. Just because the broker or the broker manager says that that's a great candidate for you doesn't necessarily mean that you and that agent are really going to gel. You're not going to necessarily hit it off with them. So you need to still conduct that interview. But because this is the most important thing that you're doing, make sure that you take the time to take those steps. Interview that agent. And when you sit down with that agent, there's always important questions to ask. I'm not going to go into a whole list right now with all those questions. But the first thing you might want to do is kind of assess how they listen to you. Are they listening as you talk to them about what you're doing, what it is that your needs are, what you want to accomplish with the sale of your property? Interact with them for a good period of time and just see if this is the right person for you. What's their web presence? Let's say that the broker or the broker manager tells you that this is a great agent for you, this is their name. Go ahead and set an appointment with them. Google them. You'd be surprised at how many real estate agents that are out there. When you Google them, you can't even find them on the web. And in today's world, if you can't find your real estate agent on the web, how are they going to market your property? So one of the most important things is to Google that real estate agent. What's their presence like? What kind of listings do they have on the web? How are they marketing those listings on the web? When they have those out there, are they pictures? Are there videos? Are there certain things? And make sure that that's in line with what you were expecting out of your real estate agent. What's their marketing plan? If they don't have a marketing plan to present to you, that's another indicator that that might not be the most prepared person that you want to work with. What are they going to do? What are your expectations? What are you going to expect them to do, and are they going to fulfill that? What's the timeline? Are they going to contact you on a regular basis, or do you not want to hear with them unless there's a showing on your house? So talk it over with them and find out if that's a good fit there. What's their knowledge of the local market? What do they know about the local market? So if you interview that agent, ask them questions about your subdivision. Ask them questions about the city you live in. Ask them questions about the county that you live in. Real estate is very, very local. If you are listening to the news and the news is telling you it is skyrocketing, it's awesome, things are great, they're improving, which they are. But in general, it's very, very local. I have graphs that I'm going to pass out after my speech that just gives you an example of how local real estate really is. I've got things from Lake County and our major cities. Mount Dora, Tavares, Eustis, the villages, and it's very surprising to see the differences each city indicates in what the average prices were, and this is a graph through 2012, so you can see the bounces and what those averages are. So Lake County, for example, has an average of about $144,000, and I believe it was Eustis that has an average of maybe $120,000 for the homes. And each city is very different. And that, my fellow Toastmasters, is the end of my speech. Sorry I didn't get that to you. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. This is the second time that I was chosen to evaluate Peter's speech. And I remember the first time I did the evaluation, I stood up here in front of you all. I shook like a leaf because that was the first time I actually got in front of the podium. Now I can actually come from around the podium and actually talk without shaking and quivering. So I've come a long way. Now, Peter this time actually did a speech on an abstract topic, which for me caught me off guard because I missed the beginning of this speech. I was making notes as to what else was he writing the speech about. But I sort of picked up in between that it was about related to employees at work. And he had some quotes in there from very important people that you see on TV on a regular basis, you know, Homer Simpson being one. And then we have the quotes from, I think it was Groucho Marx. Those are also very important. Peter had good voice inflection. His body inflection was well done. He had head movement that he panned around the room and watched what everybody was looking at, paying attention to him. His stage presence was relaxed. It was easygoing to listen to him. And he kept you entertained by trying to pay attention to what he was going to say next. You never knew when the quip was going to come out. So I was really focused on what he was trying to communicate to us. He had a great pause for effect, and his speech was clear. And that's my evaluation.